Okay, we're live at James speaking, trainingsites.io. Welcome to another Wednesday at 1. These are live, open Q&As, anything goes. Talking about starting, building, growing education business, of course, with all of the cool AI stuff that's happening. So if you haven't been here before, welcome. Let me know in the chat what's going on, who you are, where you're from, and any questions, and I'll do my best to either answer them with you and or direct you or investigate where we might be able to get some answers. And that includes using some of the AI tools that we all have available to us, and they change every day. For example, Sonnet 4.6 was released, I guess, last night to the public. That's another new tool that's become available. So just wicked cool stuff happening in this whole space, and we can certainly talk about it. So yeah, just to kind of do a recap of where things are at trainingsites.io. Again, please put any questions in. No question is too simple, none is too complex. We'll try and figure it out along the way as we go. And I think that's the real exciting part, is that there's no right answers right now. One of the things that I've been trying to do personally is fail as quickly as possible, putting together silly ideas and trying them out to actually see what happens. And in fact, one of the things that we did yesterday in one of the VIP campus sessions is we basically did something on the fly, and then I recorded it in a video that I just published, I guess maybe a half hour ago, about the brand new Claude plugins, which is, I don't think people understand how important the Claude plugins and skills are that are coming out right now. So it'd be interesting to see what happens here. And again, let me know who's here. What do we have for questions? Anyone have any questions? No questions, yes questions, maybe questions. I'm here to answer them again, do my best to go through that and see what we can actually work on. So yeah, how many people we got on? We got one person on today. That's it, a single person. So you have the floor. Um, it's funny, the whole idea with the tutorials and stuff that's going on is that if I put a title or a thumbnail, which is like basically a how-to title or thumbnail or something that just explains what it is, it's like you get no responses. But on the other hand, if you do something that's shocking and challenging and contrarian, you get a lot of people that tune in. So we're going to see what happens here. I tried to do a simple one, but maybe it's going to work, maybe it's not going to work. So hopefully we'll still get some people on, ask some questions, we'll play around and see what's happening in the whole AI space. Um, here's kind of the thing. I just want to touch on two of the things that are happening in the AI space, and I think what people should kind of pay attention to moving forward. Here's the first one that I've been running into right now. There is a whole bunch of, not hubbub, there's a whole bunch of excitement around Notebook LM, which is this tool right here from Google. And the reason Notebook has, if you haven't seen this before, I have a whole bunch of courses on it, video tutorials within training sites to look at. Notebook LM is a really, really great research tool, and it has some awesome outputs that it can put together. There's 9 of them right here. I'm in Canada, so I don't get all of the new latest and greatest ones that came up. They're not available here for me yet. I think they're only in the States. But it is really, really good at creating awesome visual representations of text data and being able to have grounded chats. So in the middle here, if I have a chat, it's grounded on the sources, and then be able to output it to things like infographics that can be done really, really, really well with simple prompts to customize them, or just based on the information that you're having a chat with. So a lot of people in the education space, focus on Notebook LM for synthesizing, putting together, adding all of the pieces of a particular topic or subject, and being able to output them in a whole bunch of different useful kind of formats. And Notebook LM is great for that. The other thing that they've done, that Google's done, and this is the part that's interesting, I think, moving forward, is that Google's really well positioned for this, but they haven't showed or played all their cards yet. And what I'm talking about is that if you go into Google Gemini, which is now, Google Gemini, I think, is almost entirely through the entire suite. But when you're working on something like Gemini, for example, oh, video templates, there's new. We'll try that one. There we go, video templates. That's brand new. That just came up for me today, which is kind of cool. That's for video. I'm going to go back to this one. If you notice in the bottom here that they've all got Notebook LM here now as a source. So not only can we have a grounded discussion in Notebook LM, but we can take all of that organized resources and content that we added as sources in Notebook, add it as a grounding here, and then add to it externally with all of the stuff that we do here within Gemini. So I think you're going to see Notebook LM weaving its way through all of the other Google Suite tools, and as well as Google Gemini as well. So they're doing a good job of bringing it together. I don't think it's quite there yet. They're still working some stuff out, but this will be kind of interesting to see how they use the notebooks and even Google Classroom, which people who are not educators or informal on the Google education plans don't get access to. But they've got a whole ecosystem that is making things really, really interesting. And I think Notebook is one of the key parts of that, to be able to organize the data that is being generated in the other Google workspace. So just watch and pay attention to that. So having said that, the part that I'm really spending, hi Kelly, thanks for coming on. One of the things that I'm really spending a lot of time on right now is the whole idea of being able to creatively or have some flexibility in terms of the actual tasks that get done, as opposed to the chats that we have. So, Gemini right now is about having a chat and then asking for something to be output. In many cases, some of those things, might be a video or an image, or, doing deep research or report. It has a canvas we can do, guided learning. There's a number of things there, but those are particular outputs that the AI tool is creating. What isn't here quite yet in Gemini, but it is in anti-gravity, which is a whole other kind of kettle of fish, is that the tasks that it's able to get done are not yet in Gemini. They are in Claude, which is the part that I'm spending a lot of time on moving forward. And the reason is because they have skills and they have plugins. And again, these are all things that we've covered in trainingsites.io, and they're on the channel here. I'll just pull up the channel that the Training Sites channel. If you haven't been here before, I did a couple videos in the last couple days. We'll do this one here just so you can see it. It's at Training Sites is what the channel is, but this one here was about doing the 200 skills that I created, and then some of the other one of these co-work agent skills. So there's a whole bunch of kind of pieces in play around here that actually do things, and that is the exciting part right now. The video I just did is about co-working and co-working plugins, and one of the things that we did there is I actually gave it a task to complete, and the task was to do all of my class prep for a class, and it did all of it. It wasn't me prompting it to actually get an output. It actually did all of the parts of the class prep, including doing stuff like adding the materials to the LMS. So it was completing tasks, not just generating some output. And I think in 2026, that ability for us to leverage these plugins and or skills that complete tasks as opposed to generating content is really the cool part moving forward. So what have we got for questions here? Kelly, Kelly's on the line here. We got Kelly. Give me a question. What do you got to work on? What are some of the things that you're playing around with? We can spend some time on it. And again, anyone else that comes on, just let me know. We can talk about teaching online, which tool to use at which time, how stuff gets fitted, if that's the right expression, how to fit in the right tool at the right time. And again, that's something maybe, Kelly, that you want to kind of talk about, because that's something that is a big challenge for a lot of people. Um, and I think what we'll do, is that okay, Kelly? Do you want to do that one? Just give me a thumbs up. We can do it here. I don't think there's many people on, but that's okay. Let me know if you just want to focus on that approach to using the which tool at the which time. We can do that. Or if you want to talk about a specific part of co-work or the skills files or notebook, we can do that as well. That would be certainly something to copy. Um, does anyone want to see what a plugin looks like or how they work? We could go over this. It was in the video, but I will show you because it is pretty cool what we actually did. So let me just pull this up. I'm going to pull over. I'll show you what I have a plugin doing right now. This is actually running in the background here. Um, this is the one. This right now. I'm in Claude Cowork that you can see up here, and I have a plugin that is my skills library manager. So here's one of the things that just as an example of what's happening in real life with Claude Cowork. So this is something that I'm doing right now. So I have a co-working plugin, which is my skills library manager. And the way that this works is at any time that I want to go and I go to my skills library here on trainingsites.io. Right now there's 230 skills, 234 skills that are broken into these 7 categories. And actually I think there's the plugin, Claude wrote this plugin for the campus, so I got to go and make sure that the skill count gets to be accurate. The thing is here though, is that this entire library now is being created, updated. All of the skills, all of the content is being generated now specifically from a Cowork plugin. So I can simply go add this skill to the library. Not only will it write the skill, but it's also going to create all the additional material, like all of this. It'll go and actually create it all, upload it to the site, create the skill, make it available as a download. So if you said to me, let's go make a skill, I can have it up here and running in a couple seconds. So these are the kind of tasks that we're able to complete. So if you're thinking of teaching, the one that we just did in the video was one about doing live class prep. If you wanted to do one about, researching something or growing your business or any idea that you had, that's the real thing that's limiting now, is the ideas that you have, not how to do it. It's like, what do you want to do that is appropriate to fit things in? So interested skills plugin for Claude Cowork. So here's a couple ones. So Heartstrings, Celista Knight, thank you for coming on. I don't, oh, there we are. Actually, we did talk earlier. Keith is there. Thank you very much. And then the plugins, Kelly. So we'll do that one as well. Okay. So here we go. I'll run one in the background and let's actually see what happens, okay? So you can see what happens. And then I'll show you how to actually create them. So here we are. I'm gonna go and we'll pull up Claude, and I'm having a discussion here. And what we were doing here in Claude is I was asking for, where are the ones that we had? I just said, yeah. I said, I want to identify some additional skills that are marketing related that I haven't done yet. And it gave me a couple of ideas. The ones we settled on, for example, were the first couple were the LinkedIn Prospect Finder, the Intent Signal Monitor, and the Cold Email Sequence Builder. So it basically went and created those ones, and they're all available now for you to actually download. They're there. So let's take a look at another one, and we'll go and we'll say, what are the, there's a little error on it, and I'm just going to say, what do you suggest for the next 3? And we'll just hit enter and see what it comes up with. So I've asked it to identify some skills that are missing in the library that I have, and it came up with some answers. So I'm basically just going to ask it to continue making some skills. So it's going to come up with the next 3, and then I'll look at them and say, hey, there we go. So it's looking on the database right now. So it's looking in my skills library to see what's missing, and it's looking for the gaps for the market before it goes through. So it's doing some analysis and research on it. So pretty cool. Let that run kind of in the background. This is Opus 4.6, which is the new model from, I guess, a week and a half ago now. And I'm on the max plan, which is $100 a month US dollars, that just lets it run a little bit longer. So this one is actually running in the background. And the thing that's cool with Cowork up here is it works in parallel. There we go. So just built 3. recommended 3. So we got the podcast guest pitch, discovery call script builder, and the LinkedIn DM sequence builder. Okay, so we'll just do the, well, we'll do all 3. I'm just going to say do all 3. So while that's working in the background, I want you just to think of this. If you have your own, these are things that you can do, or you can purchase some of these skills and or plugins, which I'll explain the difference in a minute. So what's going to happen here is in the background here, you see, let me invoke the skills library manager. So it's using the skill that we created, and it's actually going to read what those instructions are. So it knows that employee's job, and it's going to actually go and do the same thing. Now, why this is important is because it allows me to build these skills identically. If I've got one the way that I like, I can build as many as I want. So if I had enough tokens, or I had a plan that was big enough on Claude and we came up with 1,000 skills, I can build 1,000 skills today. So just start letting that sink in a little bit. Any task that you have that you want done for you, you can have an individual employee that does it exactly the way that you want, and it doesn't matter what it is. It's up to you to figure out what it is you want done, not how to do it anymore. Because the employee, the skill, knows exactly how to do it. And then notice how it says, now let me build all skills in parallel. So it's not doing one skill, then going on to the next one. It's doing all 3 now at the same time. So if I had said, give me 5, it could have created 5 at the same time. Now it still use up the tokens. I could have said run 10 at the same time, or 100 at the same time, or 1,000 at the same time. So the amount of work that we're able to get done is not limited now by how to do it, but on what we want done and the cost of running the tokens or the compute on it, which is kind of interesting. So there we go. It's building them. There's the guest pitch one that's being built. It's working on all those other things. And once it's built, what it's going to do is it's going to go and it's going to create or upload the skill and write out all of this information. And this is a plugin that I actually had Claude build for the WordPress site. So all of this is done completely automated. And if I click here, for example, see where my mouse is moving, what it does is it downloads the zip file that you can go and install and use. And right now I'm giving away all of the skills. They're all available to you. You can just go and download them, which is pretty cool. So that is skills. What the heck is the difference between a skill and a plugin, and why should you even care? Well, let's go take a look on here, and what I'm going to do is we'll just go to the Claude blog. Where's the blog one? Okay, here it is. These are, and again, these ones are co-work with plugins. So I was doing co-work with skills, but what co-work is with plugins. And what happens is we're adding support for plugins, which lets you bundle any skills, connectors, slash commands, and sub-agents, and turn Claude into a specialist for your role, team, and company. So what happens with these ones is, and I've shown these in the other videos, but what you can do is you can basically say, look, I have my marketing department, and my marketing department has 7 experts. One is a social media expert, one is an email expert, outbound email expert, one is an ad copy expert, one is a sales page expert, and you can bundle them into a co-working plugin. And the cool part is that you can just have a slash command that calls that department, and the department manager is like the plugin, and they know what employees they have, and they just know that when you get that slash command, they're going to tell the right employees at the right time to go and do what they need to do to finish a task. So if you say market my new course, or put together the marketing materials for this live event I'm doing. Or, for example, do the marketing for Easter, or do the marketing for spring break or something like that, and you give it the instructions on what you want that marketing, the topic, or what the category is, and you hand it off to the department head, which is the plugin goes and calls the right employees to do the outputs that they've already been taught how to do. And you can create plugins the exact same way that you create skills. And the difference is that you need to be using one of the desktop versions here. You notice in the bottom left corner it has plugins. This is still running, so I don't want to technically, I could go to it and come back, but I'm afraid to here in case I break something on it. So we'll come back to it and I'll show you where the plugins are. So skill monitoring, social media and comments and pain points. So here's a great question, Keith. One of the things is that um, here's the part with a plugin and a skill. If you, when you have a skill, it's like an employee that you're giving a set of instructions to, right? If you have a skill that also has an MCP connector, what that means is that you're giving the employee a tool. And that tool might be to access some data on a Notion database or on your WordPress site, or to use a tool, for example, like Firecrawl or Apify, or to go and search Reddit and go and take a look at, or go and watch your Instagram accounts. So these are the kind of things that you can have your employee do and do research as part of their job if you give them access to those tools. So if you wanted to build a skill for monitoring social media, yeah, you absolutely can do it. And in fact, one of the things here, let me see if I can pull it up here. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I'm just going to go and we'll close this right now, make it a little bit bigger. One of the things that I was working on here, let me just go and look at it, because one of the things that I was asking about was doing outbound research for these ones. There we go. Yeah, so here's one here as an example, Keith. So you were asking about it, so monitoring and follow-up. So one of the ones I'm creating is a brand mention monitor, tracks the mentions of training sites, Float community, key competitors across social forums and blogs, catches opportunities to jump into conversations. So the MCP tools that it's going to need is one called Apify we'll use, web search and APIs. Then you get a daily alert feed with mention context and suggested responses. Here's one here, for example, competitor student sentiment tracker was another one. Um, the other one was joint venture webinar partner finder, guest post prospector. Looks at, audience size, guest posts. Here's one here, partnership and leverage. So scouts incoming virtual summits, conferences, and bundle events for spaces. Podcast pitch writer is the one we're just doing. So this one outputs and writes custom pitches. So it takes the output, which is this one. That's the pitch writer. I have one for the finder, which was the one that we just did. So that one finds podcasts. There it is. Searches podcast directories for shows that include course creators, educators, extracts host info, booking links, and recent episodes so you can pitch yourself. So these are the ones that you can start thinking about. How am I going to do my outbound department for podcasts? That could be a grouping of all of these in a plugin. So these are the ones that I'm building out. I'm going to make these ones free, but what I will be doing is I will be selling plugins, and that's the other part that is going to be built a little bit later today. I'm going to have, in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to Claude and just say, can you please write me, or can you create a plugin that is my plugin library? And the only thing I'll do differently in this one is I'll have it use the same setup, but it's going to be the one-on-one, for example, one of the plugins, instead of say get free skill, it's going to say buy this skill or buy this plugin. It'll go to the shopping cart. Once it's there, you'll get the actual download file to install it. So yeah, Keith, you can absolutely do that and have it run. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's available today. So, if you're a teacher, you're a course creator, and you're wondering about how can I, use a prompt to get a good lesson together that I can cut and paste into Thinkific or Kajabi or some other course. Unfortunately, I think you're going to be left behind until you start thinking a little bit differently. That's what I'm betting on. Do I know 100%? No, of course not. Is it something that we'll have to pay attention to? Yeah, in the last 2 weeks, and this is the part that gets me kind of flippy about this, is you have to remember that right now I'm asking for these skills to be done or these plugins to be used. I'm asking for them to be done. The thing that happened with that OpenClaw and all of that stuff about having a personal agent available, though that is proactive. So what that means is I may have my personal assistant go and see that a guest was on a particular show and go and actually pitch the podcast to have me on because I've asked it to do it. And look out for opportunities. Is there an opportunity for me to be a guest on a podcast? Is there opportunities for joint ventures? It's got the set of skills, it's got the plugins running. Those are always available to it. Just tell it to go out and look every day. So it's not you having to say, go and look for a joint venture partner, go and look for a podcast to be on, or go and research something. We now have, and today, if you had OpenClaw set up and you had these skills or plugins, these are things that you can ask your agents to start doing today. And this changes everything about education, online business, teaching people things. It's not necessarily about the content anymore, but you having to market yourself. It's like you're having your agent, your sales staff do the work for you to spread the news. Your job is to create compelling content that helps people move from one place to another. And I think that's, for me personally, that's what I'm trying to focus on this whole time, is to actually go and have my own platform, which Keith, you're mentioning there is that personal branded campus. Yeah, absolutely. I think you need a platform for that. And being able to put your curated library of content of all of the things that you've experimented with, the things that might be of interest to your community, and then having these live sessions where you can monetize your time and or your bundles of agents, skills, and tools that you've created to um, make it easier for other people to do what you've been doing. So that's kind of the look that I've been playing on that one. So one of the other questions here, Kelly's asking, I'm looking at my vocabulary list for each lesson. I see your glossary skill on the site, no more spreadsheet for vocab. Yeah, absolutely. So, if you're playing around and you're looking at this one and you're looking at the skills library and you're going, okay, what do I want to do here? So if I just do FAQ, I've got the FAQ autoresponder, I've got a page builder and a schema markup. So let's see what this one does. So writes comprehensive FAQ pages that answer every questions your prospects have, removes objections, builds confidence, and addresses the things preventing someone from saying yes. So it's best for course creators and coaches. Okay, and it creates the FAQ page. Now here's the thing. If you go and download this particular one and you go and install it in Claude and actually can use the skill file that's in these in Gemini, in ChatGPT, in Manus, they all recognize the skill file. You can just say, for example, um, this skill is for course creators. You can go and edit the skill and just say, I want you to create the FAQ for vocabulary for whatever topic you're in. So if you're doing music or voice teaching or English as a second language, or if you're doing something scientific or math or in your school or you're doing a course, this is one that you can go take it and go make it your own. You can edit any of these skills and just use the idea and the framework that's there to make it your own. So anytime you have something that normally you would do and try and figure out a prompt to do, this is an easily customizable one that could be done for each and every lesson, for example, in a course, or even any topic or category that you have from your content authority map. All of those topics that you're focusing on, that's something there's skill, and you can have it duplicatable just easily and quickly and have it as part of your content anywhere else. Or you can give it to the students. Doesn't have to be you using it. Just do one for your students, but instead of saying FAQ page builder, just say, Q&A builder or flashcards or quiz cards, and just tell the skill to only use content from your site or your books as an example. And just give the skill to people and tell them to use it. That's part of what it is you're selling, is these bundles of skills. So that's kind of neat stuff that will actually happen. So let me try this. We're going to go back and we'll see what we've actually got running here from Claude in the background. And okay, Discovery one built. So we've got the ones built, 16 steps in the podcast guest pitch, build discovery call script. So that one's built. And you can see what's happening here with Claude. When it shows the screen, it actually tells you how many tokens are being used right there. And the cool part is with the tokens is we've got 1 million tokens now in Claude. So it's rifling through the tokens, but we get 1 million of them now in each session, which is kind of nice. So it's building these out in parallel, and see where it says using AI Engine. AI Engine is the WordPress plugin that I have specifically on my WordPress site in my privately branded campus. So what it's doing now is it's going and it's first of all writing that card that we were looking at before. Remember this one right here? So what it's doing is it's writing all of this content based on the skill that it built, and then it's going to go and upload or create a brand new skill in the skill library, write all of this content out, and make sure that it's downloaded and available. So let's see what happens here, and it should be up and available shortly, and you guys will be able to download it. We're still working in the background. If you haven't used this before, the progress on the right-hand side basically tells where we are on this. This is the number of agents that are working. And then here's the different tools that we've been using for the connectors. The AI Engine connector has been up and running, and it's using all of those different pieces. So how much time we got left here? 16 steps, 7 steps, writing, using tokens, going through all of these things. This is, when you think about it, this is kind of cool, right? Because I've been talking for what? We've been talking here for 30 minutes. Having said that, I've got 3 brand new skills that have been created for me. How many am I going to do this afternoon? There's 200 there now. I've got listing of all really great skills that I use and I think you might use. I'm going to create them all afternoon and get them done. And as much as I'm creating these skills, you can create them too if you want to. Or you can download these ones and make them your own. And then start thinking about, what do I need to build, or what would I want my employee to build, not how can I create a course or how can I do something. I'm trying really hard personally to stop thinking about how can I, more what do I want to do, or what does my course market want, or what do my students want, or what can I do that would remove me from actually doing things that I could hand off to some other employees. So yeah, so what else we got for questions here? There's Keith just said, when I'm using OpenClaw now, I believe these Claude skills will work in OpenClaw. They're based on Markdown, correct? Yeah, absolutely. These are Markdown, if I'm not mistaken. Here's something interesting. I have not installed personally OpenClaw. And if you're familiar with it, there's all sorts of news about it. And actually, I think Peter Steinberger is the person that wrote it. He actually joined ChatGPT OpenAI as a separate board or foundation, and he's basically being funded now by OpenAI. So it's there. I haven't installed it. It's the wild, wild west for that right now. I'm not I'm not comfortable enough to have that running myself. Keith, let us know in the training site campus if you've been working on that and moving through. Oh, here we go. Let's take a look. I'm going to show you what's happened here in the background. Done. So let me build the sequence builder, check the setups. So all 3 zips are built. Okay, and they had a naming issue, so it named that one, moved to WordPress publishing, created new 3 WordPress posts simultaneously. There's the post ones that have been created. uploaded all of the fields, set the meta values, all 54 reference keys, 18 per post. All three are verified that it's working. All three skates are live. Okay, so let's take a look at the podcast guest pitch generator. So I'm just going to refresh this. And I'm just going to type in podcast. And there it is. We've got our podcast guest pitch generator. I'm going to click it. This is all written for me, and the skill is available for a download. There's 3. Do you want to do another 3? So, uh, so these are ones that we all, if you're serious about this and you want to treat it as a business, these are the things I think you have to start figuring out. Where do these things fit into my business? Am I going to use it myself internally? Is it something that I want to create skills for my customers to use or my clients to use? And in fact, that's exactly what I'm doing in the live sprints. So, and I did a thing on a flipped classroom. Let me just see if I'll pull this one up. I think I did it here. I'll do it. Show you this one just in the meantime. I did one on what I called a flipped cohort, actually. So let me do. Let me just find that one that we had there. I want to find. Let's do cohort. There we go. No, that's not the one I wanted. Let me try flipped. Oh, I'm here. So maybe I didn't put it in here. No, let's try this one here. I'm going to go to tutorials. Pretty sure I put it here. So the whole idea of a flipped cohort on this one is, maybe I haven't published it yet. Oh, there's one to publish. So I have a skill for publishing these. It'll actually go, I'll do it after. Sorry about that. So let me go and we'll take a look at the flipped cohort here and see if I can come up with where it is here. It's on. Don't know where I put it. I'll put the link available. The whole thing that I was just trying to get across there is that when you are looking at these skills and plugins, you can use them yourselves. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to give them to the students or the people that are taking a course or a flipped cohort with me, because these are the ones that I want to give to let people create their own content. If you want to create a lesson or you want them to have a personal approach to learning what you normally would do by giving them the content, I'm saying give them the tool to create their own content, but then have them come and either explain themselves, deliver their work, show what they're doing in the actual, what was traditionally a class. So instead of doing a lecture, I think it's more about, hey, you did your homework first. Let's see what you did, what worked, what didn't work, and then what is the next homework you have to do. So instead of doing class homework, I'm focusing on doing homework class, but I'm giving people not necessarily just the stuff to read in the homework. I'm saying here's the tools to use. Here's how to use them. Go use them. Do what this step or this process, and then actually have the actually go and do the work. And in fact, if you want to see how that actually happens, if you go take a look here in the campus blueprint on the left-hand side, again, this is free for everyone. This is in a linear fashion, but what's happening here is this is part of it. And if you go through it, you'll see that each of what was traditionally a lesson has the skill to use and then explains how to use the skill and what to do and the decision that you have to make. So I'm not giving the particular content to people. I'm saying here's a decision or a step that you have to make. Here's what you have to do is run this skill, run this agent to be able to do it. And then figure it out for yourself. But if you need help or guidance, I'm here. And if you want to talk to me, in my case, the way my business set up, if you want to talk to me, it costs money. You have to be a campus VIP member and pay monthly, and or you want to do one of the sprints, for example, which is the one we're just doing here, the campus sprint one. That's the one we're actually doing starting next week. So there we go. I'll just show you that one just so that we have it. And I'll put all the links to these, of course, at the back, but the way the sprint works is just that. We've got 2 weeks, starts in February, next week, February 23rd. And we basically have 4 sessions, 4, 1 to 2 hour sessions that you go through, and you're going to get the work. We're going to look at it and work at it during the live sessions. You're going to get the prompts to work on it. And at the end of it, the outcome you have is you're going to have your own privately branded campus. So you'll be able to have it set up, and it's either going to be in WordPress, which I prefer, or if you're using another tool, for example, we can adapt it in terms of getting it set up with something like a circle as just an example. So yeah, so what else we got for questions here? OpenClaw locally on Mac, mine. Yeah, what else we got here? Any other questions, stuff people want to see? You want to go, we could run more in the background of that thing. That's kind of cool. See what else we ended up running here. There we go. Yeah, what else we have? Any more questions? What else is people working on? What are the things that you're struggling with? Do you have a campus yet? What AI tools are you using? Have you got some skills created? Have you played around with skills? Have you thought about, how are you going to monetize yourself? Or what are the particular topics you're going to cover? Or how to research things? This whole bit about education, I think, and courses now is a whole different beast to what it was before, because the information and people who used to have what they called a course business, it was always based on information and being able to have unique information. I don't think there's any such thing as unique information anymore. Anyone can create it. And that's a huge problem for someone who doesn't have a business built around something other than some static content, which is still, if I go take a look, for example, if we go to look at Udemy or Coursera or anyone who's selling courses, I'm going to bet that 99% of them have a whole bunch of content in some kind of structure where it's there. And if you gave me a challenge and you said to me, James, I want you to create a course on this, I can do it in 60 minutes to 90 minutes. I'll create my own course based on it. And here's the other reason I have a skills library. Well, go take a look at this, because I'm dead serious about how important skills are and plugins. But if we go take a look again, let me pull this one up here. We'll go and we'll take a look at back to my courses and the ones that we did in the campus. I basically, the way that I created that one course here, this campus blueprint course, what I did is I told it to go through my skills that I had, and I had my campus map, which is my content authority map, the 10 steps. And by the way, they're all free here for you. But I told it to look at that map. And what I said to it is, I need to create a course that follows these 10 steps. But in the course, I want you to only use skills or suggest skills that I can give to the students to use to create the content or the information that they need in or as they're doing it. And that's why when it went through all of these pieces, for example, it went through, and that's why there's skills in all of them in checklists. It did all of this stuff. I didn't do any of it because it used the skills and put it in. But that's a course that was built in under an hour, and I didn't do any of it. I didn't write any of it. I didn't create any of the skills for it for this course specifically. These are skills that I had. All I provided it for was an outcome at the end of what I wanted to do. So if if you're thinking about, how am I going to differentiate myself, I don't think it can be on content anymore. One of the ones, Kelly, this is an interesting one, because can we use a skill for the students to create their own learning journal? I don't know where that would be stored. So here's a classic example. I did a video on this one as well, but I'll do it live just because we're here. So I'm going to go look at skills here. I'm going to go look at skills, and I'm going to do, I think I called it a journal. I called it a checklist, I think. There's one here. Where is it? Weekly check-in. What the heck was it? I think it's this one. Workbook. Was workbook or worksheet? There was one called a workbook or worksheet. This is a great example, worksheet generator. Okay, here we go. So here's the worksheet generator as an example, right? So what this one does is it creates printable worksheets, practice workbooks, and exercises that give students hand-on work to do. You get materials that reinforce what you taught to help students practice on their own time. Worksheets are formatted and ready to print or share digitally. So here's an example of a skill that you could either use yourself to print out the worksheets you wanted and give the worksheets, or you could give the skill to the person that is taking your course and say, give them instructions and say, here is your skill. Week 1, I want you to create or generate your worksheet on topic 1, okay? So this one is here. I think I have it installed, so let's just try it. So give me a topic that you want there. So tell me what you want a worksheet on. I'm going to go to Claude AI. We'll just go and run this here. I'm just going to see what we have for settings because I want to make sure I have it installed. I'm going to take a look here for skills, and I'm going to say worksheet. There it is. I have worksheet generator right here. Okay, so on this one, I'm just going to go and we'll try it in chat. So who's got an idea? What do you want me to do a worksheet generator on? Let me know. Soft eyes. Okay, what's soft eyes? Give me a little more context for that, and then we'll go and run it. Can you make or use, we'll just say, give me a little more context. To create work, to create, I'll just say for the topic of, what else we got here? Who else got an idea? Just give me an idea. What do you want to do a worksheet on? Do you want to do a worksheet on using skills or creating skills? Do you want to do one on getting ready for class? Do you want to do one on, let me know. What else you got an idea here? Any idea is fine. It can be something that is soft skill. It could be a hard skill. It can be learning how to play an instrument. It could be learning how to play a sport. It can be anything that you want. Come on, someone put something in. Or I'll guess one that I just know about. Anything else that's here? Come on, let me know. I already have this in the curriculum. I don't know what soft eyes, but so we'll do of. I'm going to put this in, Kelly. I don't have any idea what's going to happen having soft eyes when speaking or presenting in public. Okay, so I'm not going to put the last, Kelly was just saying here at the end about eyes and eyebrows, relax, no hard stares. The other didn't post it. Okay, so I'm going to use that one, but I'm just going to use, hey, use my worksheet generator here, skill for the top of having soft eyes while speaking or presenting in public. And again, you can put anything that you want in here. So I'm going to put this in and we'll actually see what it comes up with. And one of the things that I really like with Claude, especially with 4.6, is that there are a number of things that have been added that you may not know about. One of them is that it does have a PowerPoint plugin that's available. It creates plugins that I think that are in many instances better than the slide decks PowerPoints that you get out of Notebook LM. That's the first thing. The second one is that any of the Excel spreadsheets or Word docs, any of the Office stuff, I think is better than comes out of the Google material. And if I ask it to use my branding skill, it'll add uh, my graphics, it'll add my colors, my fonts, all of my branding stuff will actually go and have to use it. So one of the other ones is how to use ChatGPT. We'll do that one too. What was the, let's see, it was, I have to watch the replay. How can a high school teacher leverage use these AI tools to create an online business? This is one, watch the video that I did today. So here we go. So generate a worksheet. Since Softwise is a performance presence skill, I'll use a reflection. So again, I didn't write any of this. Here we go. Um, perfect for live workshops or coaching use. 14 to 15 questions across 6 questions. It's got a reflection, practice exercise hybrid. Sorry, standout 60-second mirror drill. Gives learners embodied experience of different. So we got a live workshop handout, and here's actually what's in it. So here's the answer key, the checkpoints to do. There's the journal and the questions to actually been put there and handed in. So Kelly, if you're looking at this and you got a coaching call or something and you're playing around with this, what just happened? Think about this. I didn't give anything other than the topic or the question, and it's put it together. If I had been more specific on some of the additional terms that you mentioned, it would have whipped it all out. So when I'm ready with this, I can go and I'm just going to say use my branding skills. I'm going to say downloadable PDF and have it go and do that. Now I could have downloaded this actually here, download as a PDF or publish it as a piece, but I'm going to have it branded as well. So it's going to brand a PDF, training site colors and fonts. So I'm going to actually have it go and do that. So yeah, so one of the questions, this one here was about watch the replay. How can you have a school teacher leverage the use of this to create an online business? The video that I just did, well, this one is working in the background. The video that I just did, and I posted about an hour ago, what's after Notebook LM right here. If you get a chance to watch it, let me just play start of it here. Hopefully
Welcome
we
to
can
the
get
next evolution of
through.
AI,
So,
built right into the Alteryx
this is one where I
platform.
used a plugin.
Now,
It was
you
the
can bring
class
power
prep
of
plugin.
generative.
And I'll show you at the end
Teacher,
what we actually got out of it, what it
all the
actually
materials,
created.
reread the Class 5 solopreneurs.
There we
So
go.
we got welcome.
So this plugin basically created the class agenda, the skills or the activities to be done in the class, the resources required and the links to all of the resources that were mentioned, the use case exercises, and a PowerPoint presentation. And this was done in about 6 minutes with a Claude plugin. So all of it was done and created, and I made it available. This was just posted a couple minutes ago, 2 hours ago, at about noon, I guess, when it was done. So if you're a teacher and you're looking at this, one of the things you can do is not only use this, I'm going to be selling the plugins that I create. So that's one way of doing it. The other thing of doing is you're just saying, look, I'm an expert in class prep. You could just say, here is my class prep plugin, but we do live training and education on how to use and apply this plugin. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to monetize these things, and that's some of the stuff that I cover here in the 10-step campus map. If you haven't already, make sure to go and check that, because this is all of the steps that happen when you're actually building out your campus. You have a series of steps. One of them is the whole monetization model. Making sure that you've got your, some people call it a customer avatar or your best customer profile, something like that. But there's a whole 10-step process if you're going to turn it into a business. All I'm saying is the skills and these plugins and these agents, That is 2026, and it's not going to get any worse than it is right now. So if you're thinking about, I'm going to have an education business, I'm just saying, don't think of courses, don't think of content, think of leverage. Think of how can I involve myself and charge for my expertise and the skills that I bring when it has to do with things like guidance and encouragement and mentoring. Charge for that. I'm going to start charging more than I'm charging now. Right now, the campus pass is $97 a month, but we do classes every day except on Thursdays. So I'm increasing the price. I'm going to give the stuff to people, but I'm not going to create content and try and sell the content. That is a no sum game. And in fact, the more content that gets created, the less value that the content has. And it's only going to get more and more content. But if you can curate it and organize it, that's a much better place to be. So, what else happened here? Yeah, if you go ahead, go and watch that video if you get a chance, because it does show what actually happens. And the way that we actually created that one, where I just did it. Where's the one that we had here? Yeah, this one right here, this is actually a plugin that we created during the class 45 minutes before. And this was the first time that I ran the plugin. So that was a one-shot plugin, and this was the first use of it. So in one of the live sessions, we actually did the work of creating the plugin. That was in the Campus VIP, Campus Builders, the VIPs. We actually built it for an college professor so that he had a problem that he does or something that he wanted to streamline, which was every class he's got to go and do class prep. So this took 7 minutes to do his class prep now. So just think about how much time, energy it can save. Anything to do with content now is something that AI can do faster and better than you. And the cool part is when you look at the content that gets generated, my personal opinion is it is as good or better than I can do personally. Now, I still keep myself in the loop for the most part. I want to have the human in the loop. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you want to look and say, hey, create it and leave it as draft, I'll take a look at it, that's fine. If you want to look at it each step through the screen and only do a piece and have changes made, during it, you can do it. The point is that you can have a replicatable thing that you can do that is part of your workflow, but you're handing it off now to your digital employees. That vibe staffing, that vibe coding that you're doing is not about software applications. It's about creating content and workflows that help you spend more time doing what it is that you like to do, not necessarily creating stuff. So one of the questions here was, do you want to do one for ChatGPT? The question was how to use GPT. Do you want to do one of the other little ones that we had for the checklists here? Let me see, what do we got here? There's the branding. Holy mackerel. Okay, remember we did the soft eyes one? Take a look at the screen here. This is the soft eyes one. This is the one that I asked to do with my branding. And this is what it created. So this is my soft eyes worksheet. I'm going to go and download this and then open it up on a full page. Okay, there we go. We got a 6-page document written with my branding, areas for the person to work through. Yeah, is there a couple errors on it? It's not perfect. Worksheet done. So what do you think? My brand, my colors, my fonts, my style, my verbiage, everything is done there for me. So if you want to do one on how to use ChatGPT, just use the skill that I have, download it and install it into Claude, and you can run it and do it yourself. ChatGPT, anything that you want. So Kelly was just asking, which app are you using to create and post your course and graphics? Okay, good question. One of the things that you can do, and let me just look at some of the course graphics. There's a couple ways of doing this, and I'm the worst, not the worst person, but I'm pardon me for showing that. I'm not the best person to ask for graphics, and I'll tell you why. I'm incredibly, these ones here, I don't have graphics for them, and some of them are admin draft ones, so that's why why sometimes people see them and not see them. So uh, here's the thing that I do, rightly or wrongly, is not often. I'm not good at graphics and I don't like doing graphics, so I redo the same one and just change the text. That's the way I've been doing it because I'm lazy and I'm not good at graphics, and I'm not always the happiest with what gets generated, as an example, by some of the tools. So there's a whole bunch of different ways of doing it. If you're using a tool, for example, like vidIQ, which is one that works really well with, and it's built into YouTube as an example. But one of the things you can do with vidIQ is when you're working with vidIQ or two titles like that, you can actually go and have it create some advanced thumbnails. So where's the one that we have here? So you can take a look at one of these and have it actually go and create some additional examples, generate thumbnails that are different. So some of the tools that you're using probably have these that are available. I often just go to Nano Banana and ChatGPT, or I'll go to OpenAI, and Gemini, or I'll go to ChatGPT, and the one that's there seems to do a good job for me. The other one that I do is there's one called AI Engine, which is built into WordPress. Now, it's a plugin that I have in WordPress, and you can actually build graphics in there, and it's using Gemini, Nano Banana, or ChatGPT, or some of the other tools. So I don't use one particularly, but yeah, you can certainly do it. And the one thing that I have been doing is that when I use my skill, one of the skills that I have, the YouTube title architect, what it does is it tells you when you pick the thumbnail title and the thumbnail and title that you want, it gives you the written instructions that you can give to the tool. So the only thing that I would say is if you're, kind of figuring out what to use for thumbnails, try and make sure that you ask an AI tool beforehand what instructions you should give to the graphics tool to get what it is that you want. So not entirely the best person to ask on that one. There's a science to it. I haven't followed up or spent a lot of time on it. I work mostly on the title, trying to focus on the title and see what happens with that. So what else we got for questions? How long have I been going here? An hour. If there's no questions, I'll bring it in for a landing. If you haven't already, what I'd love for you to do, of course, is to join the community. It's trainingsites.io/join. And if you're really serious about this, and if you want to get hands-on help on working through all of this, all you need to do is go to, and we'll just make sure I'm in the right place here. I'd love to have you as a campus builder, one of the VIPs here. And if you go on any of the main screens, you're going to see that there's a place for a campus map, and it has all of the different stuff that's here. And I think the big thing that it is that every week we do 4 sessions that these are working sessions. So I'm not doing anything along the lines of lecturing. It's, hey, here's a tool that came out. Have you used it? If you did use it, what happened? What's the next step in the process? How do you, figure out which is the best way to go with it? What are my options? And these are things that we actually work through the actual application of what it is that you're doing. So I would love for you to actually go and become a member. And I would suggest that you do it beforehand because I'm probably going to double the price in the next little while. So, you have to be serious about it. If you want to actually spend some time working on your projects together, that's what this is for. If you're not, and you just want to kind of figure things out on your own, we have all of the tutorials, which are the YouTube tutorials that are here. These are all the YouTube tutorials, but on these particular ones, what I do is I take the YouTube video and I have a skill that automatically creates all of the information that is taken or pulled out of the YouTube video. And you can basically go through these yourself and figure it out. Make sure to take the free courses here. pick out the stuff, ask questions here. You're free to do that. And of course, all of the skills that I've made are available to you as well. And there's all sorts of prompts in the document library as well. So I give away my content. What I charge for is live access to myself and or the plugins that we're creating. And then on the agency side, if you're just stuck and you're going, man, I don't want to do any of this my own, I just want it's done for me. We do have the agency side where we'll build out the campus for you completely. If you want a campus built out, you just say, hey, this is what I want. We'll build out a Fluent community campus for you. In fact, we can even host it for you if that's something that you don't have a host for. And even if you have something like Circle.so and you just need some help with it, we can do the same thing by applying all of the same stuff that's here, but just on that particular platform. So there we go. Okay, like and subscribe to the channel. Come and join the community. I appreciate you coming on. If there's no more questions, I'll end it here. And what I am going to do is, you're going to see, I'll do this one last piece just because I can, is we created 3 skills here on the call. So it says 220 here. So I'm going to check. It's 237, 220. So I'm going to check why these are different. But what I'm going to do is, before the end of the day, I'm going to have Claude probably do another 15 to 25 skills that are all about starting, building, and growing an education business. So these will all be available. And again, these are all free right now. You're welcome to download them and start using them in your business. What I will be doing is, later tonight, what I'll probably do is I'll have Claude create a WordPress plugin that it looks the same as this, but it will be my plugin library. And the plugin library will be Claude Cowork plugins, and which we talked about today, and I'll be selling those ones. So if there is a particular grouping of skills or a department that you want, let me know. Put it in here in the general discussion or the AI tools and apps, and just say, build a plugin for this. I'll build the plugin, and then if you give me a good idea, I'll build it for you, and then we'll make it available for sale after. So just pull up some ideas that you want to see how that actually works. So, okay. And I'll ask one other question. One last question here. Big Mick, I wanted to know, how has it been for you to maintain a regular community with users coming in all the time? Um, do you want to know? Okay. Here's the, it takes time. If you're going to run a community, it does take time. You have to spend, you have to be in the industry that you're in about your community, because there's always stuff happening. It doesn't matter what community it is, there's always stuff happening that's news, that is in and around and related to your topic. Part of the things that I kind of focus on at the start is I'm always, harping on having a topical authority map or content authority map, which is those 10 big categories and subcategories and the questions that people have. That area of expertise is not a niche, it's broader than a niche. It's a whole thing about, AI for course creators and teachers. So it's not so narrow that you're hyper focused. I don't think that's valuable with all of the AI content. I think you have to have a library of content about a particular topic. That's the first thing. If that's the case, you need to be able to curate it. And initially, when you start doing it, if you don't have skills that will do it for you, you have to keep on top of it. But now I've been creating skills that curate the content for me based on the topical authority map, and it actually will start posting for me because I've got these skills and plugins set up. It'll start posting for me to the community. So that's the first thing. So if you can get your skill set up to be posting on a regular basis, as long as it's information that, of course, is important, you can do that, and you can automate that. And you can vet it, of course, if you want to do it so it's just kind of hidden at the start. That's fine. And then the other thing that happens, and I'm just scrolling through here, is I do have, there's one here. So I have a campus ambassador, and my campus ambassador is Claude. And Claude will actually go through. And one of the things that I have is I have it go through and I look at all of the new members. I congratulate the new members. I look at the leaderboards that go through, and it also looks for questions that are unanswered after a certain number of days and can suggest places to go on the site to find the particular answer. So I have a campus ambassador now that goes to do that. So my focus is on making sure that I'm paying attention to what's happening in the industry, creating content around it, and making myself monetizable. Still a business, but I'm automating as much as I can to Claude Cowork, Claude Code, plugins, all of that stuff that's being available with agents, and it can be done now. So it's not too hard anymore. And I think the cool part is you're looking at it and you're saying, okay, great, let's do this. And I think it was Peter, one of the other people has OpenClaw. Right now, every week, I just go and I say, I ask the campus ambassador to go and check the campus. And it goes through and looks through everything for the last 7 days. I OpenClaw, if I had that, and I said, here's the agent, I want it to run every day at 7 in the morning, or every night at 10 in the evening and go through, or noon, whatever. If I want it twice a day to go and run, it's just going to go and run. I don't have to prompt it. That's going to happen automatically. Even things that I do have set up, and again, I'll just show you this one here, is if we go, let me do one more here just because I can. I don't know if it's because I like showing off or because it's just fun. So I'm going to go and we're just going to do a new task here. I'm in the desktop version, and this is a plugin that I wrote. And this one, you're going to see I'm going to do /, and I'm going to do plugins, and I have a plugin called Weekly Newsletter. And I have the command is AI News, Newsletter Build, or Newsletter Preview. So this particular one, I can just do a / newsletter build. And what this plugin does is it goes through the last 7 days of what's happening on the site, all of the video tutorials that I've added, all of the YouTube videos that I've added, plus it goes to do research about AI news. And then it creates a newsletter that automatically gets added to the CRM, which I use Fluent CRM here. For me to go use it, I can do it as a build and send or a preview. But what happens is that it just goes and gives me a preview, and then I either edit it or say yes, and it's sent out. So this stuff, again, now is available. So we're thinking 3 months, 6 from now, we got OpenClaw running. It's built into Gemini. It's built into Claude. Um, I don't think people realize how quickly this is happening and how it's changing. And thinking about traditional courses and that stuff, I don't think you can't differentiate yourself anymore, and you're going to run into trouble. So think of a business, think of agents, and kind of think a little bit bigger about what you want done in your business as opposed to how you can do it. That's the goal for me, what I'm doing, and hopefully I get that kind of across on how to maybe consider approaching it. So hopefully that helps. And again, I appreciate the question because every day I'm figuring it out. What can I do? There's the other one, my YouTube transcript repurposer. So if I have a YouTube video the day after when the thing is available, this is what it does, is it does the transcript, writes a tutorial, creates social media posts, does an email out to everyone, done. So start thinking, start thinking. Cool stuff happening. It's all here and it's all available for you. So hopefully that helped. I hope you had some fun with this. I will bring it in for landing now, and I'll be available in the community, in the campus. If you haven't already, please join. And if you haven't, join the sprint for next week if you want to build a campus. And I'll put the link below as well, and also in the community so that you can join us for that. So James speaking. Take care, everyone. Expect the best. We'll be back next Wednesday at 1 or in the Training Sites campus. Take care. Bye-bye.